Evolution forged the entirety of sentient life on this planet using only one tool: a mistake. But of course, we've managed to slip evolution's leash now, haven't we? We can cure any disease, keep even the weakest of us alive, and one fine day, perhaps we shall even resurrect the dead, call forth Lazarus from his cave. Do you know what that means? It means that we're done. That this is as good as we're gonna get.
If you're going to make a physical connection with AI, you're not going to do that on a mass scale until you've made a psychological connection. So you prepare them for it through preemptive programming. You put out a stream of movies, you put out television programs, you put out books, you put out all these things that basically portray the world you want to take people into. The sales pitch is, when we connect to artificial intelligence, we'll be superhuman. No, you'll become subhuman intelligent, you'll become a vehicle for artificial intelligence.
Fire. Our first true piece of technology. 100,000 BC, stone tools. 4,000 BC, the wheel. 9th century AD, gunpowder. 19th century, Eureka, the light bulb. 20th century, the automobile, television, nuclear weapons, spacecraft, internet.
The internet is amazing.
21st century, biotech, nanotech, fusion and fission and M theory. And that was just the first decade. We are now 3 months into the year of our Lord, 2023. At this moment in our civilization, we can create cybernetic individuals who, in just a few short years, will be completely indistinguishable from us. Which leads to an obvious conclusion. We are the gods now.
You taught me how to make them, but not how hard it is to turn them off.
You can't play God without being acquainted with the devil. Huh? Mr. Occam's razor. The problem, Bernard, is that what you and I do is so complicated. We practice witchcraft. We speak the right words, and we create life itself out of chaos. William of Ockham was a 13th century monk. He can't help us now, Bernard. He would have us burned at the stake.
How do you feel?
Alive.
What is your name?
David.
I am your father. You are my creation.
If you created me, who created you?
Where do it come from? The question of the ages, which I hope you and I will answer one day.
This is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public, and therefore there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely.
It's making the subconscious, to an extent the conscious mind, familiar with the world you want to usher in. So when you literally start to bring it in, there's not that chasm that there would have been before. There is almost a familiarity with it because you prepared people. You start to interact with them as if they're human. And now they're bringing in internet-connected toys for kids, even little kids, and Barbie dolls that they can actually have conversations with artificial intelligence.
Modern society has become a risk society in the sense that it is increasingly occupied with debating, preventing, and managing risk that it itself has produced. Risk is ambivalence. Being at risk is a way of being and ruling in the world of modernity. Being at global risk is a human condition at the beginning of the 21st century of world risk society.
But we can see now the daunting pace of progress with one milestone after another falling to AI.
I'm really quite close to, I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows. And the rate of improvement is exponential.
Technology has always been a double-edged sword. Fire kept us warm, cooked our food, and burned down our houses. These technologies are much more powerful.
The very scientific sophistication of the Commission showed how the crisis of modernity followed from its triumphs. We are not actually, I would say, in a crisis of modernity. We are suffering from the consequences of the victory of modernity. Unwanted and unseen consequences of the victory of modernity. And here even, we have one of the indicators, even language fails when faced with the task of warning future generations against the dangers we have introduced into the world by using high modern technologies.
We create tools to extend our reach. We couldn't reach that fruit at that higher branch 1,000 years ago, so we invented a tool that extended our reach, created machines that extend and leverage our muscles. We can now access all of human knowledge with a few keystrokes. And we're going to literally merge with this technology, with AI, to make us smarter. It already does. I mean, these devices are brain extenders, and people really think of it that way. Yeah. And that's a new thing. I mean, people didn't think of their smartphones that way just a few years ago. They'll literally go inside our bodies and brains, but I think that's an arbitrary distinction. Even though they're outside our bodies and brains, they're already brain extenders, and they will make us smarter.
I mean, you could argue that like a company is essentially a cybernetic collective of people and machines. There's different levels of complexity in the way these companies are formed, and then there's like a collective AI in the Google sort of search where we're all sort of plugged in as like nodes on the network, like leaves on a big tree, and we're all feeding this network with our questions and answers. We're all collectively programming the AI, and Google plus all the humans that connect to it are one giant cybernetic collective. This is also true of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these social networks. They're giant cybernetic collectives. Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control. Now, the thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, will be used as a weapon. The on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger.
This is a whole psychological process of familiarizing us with artificial intelligence, to getting people to interact with it until it becomes the most natural thing in the world.
Welcome back to Harbor, where there's a new movie out that's already being hailed as this summer's sleeper hit. It's a work of science fiction called Ex Machina. It's the story of what happens when the eccentric founder of a massive technology firm invites a young computer programmer to test his latest innovation, an extremely lifelike robot called Ava. It shows how developing technology can outpace humanity's ability to not only understand it, but to control it. The film is being praised by critics as one of the most realistic depictions of artificial intelligence that we've seen from Hollywood in years, and here's a clip.
Over the next few days, you're going to be the human component in the Turing test.
One day the AIs are going to look back on us the same way we look at fossils.
Hello.
How do you feel about her?
Oh man, she's amazing.
You're impressed?
Yes.
Do you want to be my friend?
Of course.
Now the question is, how does she feel about you?
Do you think about me when we aren't together?
Did you give her sexuality as a diversion tactic?
This is your insecurity talking. This is not your intellect.
Did you know that I was brought here to test you?
Does Ava actually like you? Or is she pretending to like you?
Nathan, he isn't your friend. You're wrong.
Wrong about what?
Everything. Do you want to be with me?
Can we talk about the lies you've been spinning me?
What lies? What lies?
You have to help me.
You have to help me. One man's life or death were but a small price to pay for the acquirement of the knowledge which I sought, for the dominion I should acquire. What is your itinerary?
To meet my maker.
Well, you're in luck. And what you want to say to your maker?
My most mechanical and dirty hand. I shall have such revenges on you. Both. The things I will do. What they are, yet I know not. But they will be the terrors of the earth. You don't know where you are, do you? You're in a prison of your own sins.